Good evening, everybody, wherever you may be in the vastness of the galaxy. I'm Rockin' Larry Lockin coming at you from the Oregon coast, Pleiadian Express Productions, Pleiadian Talk. Today on the show, returning tonight on the show, Jane Hermstad, one of my fellow dear administrators from the group Pleiadians, who's been on here with me several times and is such a natural, is going to talk to us a little bit today about an astral experience she had. Jane and I were talking the other night, and I was telling her about how I don't astral project, or I don't remember if I ever do, and she had gotten into telling me about one of the few that she remembers doing. So Jane, all the way from the land of the midnight sun and probably some morning sun too, how are you, dear?
Hello, Larry. I'm doing great here. Now the sun is up and it's morning. It's 6:41 a.m. and
Wow,
it's beautiful weather and I'm doing great. How about
that's good
you?
to hear. That's so good to hear. It's 9:41 p.m. here. I guess 21:41 by your time, international time, and the sun just went down here. Huh, that's kind of odd. So we were talking the other night about your astral dream about going to that other planet and seeing those other beings. I just thought it was fascinating, and if you could just, if we could just kick it off, why don't let's get right into it and let's tell the world about your astral travel.
Yeah, it started. It's not very long ago, but it's yeah, about 2 years ago, I think. Around that yeah time. It started with that I was aware of that I could do that. It was yeah, relaxing state, and I could do it wherever I was. If I was on the couch, or if I was in my bed, on my bed, um, and it came very easy to me. It was a little bit odd. It was a strange feeling, seeing myself in that position and in that way. It was a very strange, but also a natural way of being. Um, I didn't think so much about it because I thought it was odd. At the same time, I thought that everybody could do that. Um, I didn't know how strange that was until I all of a sudden saw a YouTube video on astral traveling, and I was puzzled about what is astral traveling. It has something with cosmos to do, as it's astral. It sounds like something vast out there in the universe. I was thinking that way. Astral, okay. So I needed to see that. So I turned it on and had a look at what it was, and it was about learning how to astral travel. And it started off explaining something about this, how to get out of your body in an awakened state of mind, um, and having the opportunity to move in time and space, and really in your room and outside your room, and having the opportunity to also move through objects. And I was thinking, oh, but that's what I'm doing. And why are they coming up with a video on that? I thought that was really strange, but I wanted to see how they were explaining how to do it, because that was what it was all about, explaining how can you travel this way, how can you get out of your body and doing it this way. And they started off with a long introduction, and uh, I was like, oh my God, when do we travel? And I was really anxious to get there and to see if I was doing it the right way, or if I was doing it the same way, or yeah, how do they do it? And it took me, I was really impatient, very impatient, because they said, yeah, well, when you get out of your body, you ought not to be scared of it because it's not dangerous, and you have a core stuck to your body that you could get into your body. And I was thinking, oh my God, where is my core? I've never seen any. I have never noticed. I've never even thought about it. But I needed a silver cord to be placed on the back or the lower back of my, yeah, of my back, so I could come back to my body. I haven't given that a second thought ever.
Yeah.
I'm not thought of being connected to my body. I knew was that I was laying there in a relaxed state and feeling secure that I could just snap out of it and straight to my body whenever I wanted. And there were nothing stopping me. There were no limits stopping me getting back to the body in a snap. So it was like um, I were I was out of my window in the second floor long before he explained how you got out of your body and all with this cord and not being scared and everything. And I was really thinking, well, I want to go. I'm going now. I cannot wait for this. This is too much. So it kind of triggered me to get into that state and out of my body and even out of my house. So I saw myself laying there, and I also saw myself from laying in my sofa. I could see myself also looking at myself standing outside my window, floating in the outside my window, second floor. Of course, you're not that tall, so you cannot be having anything under your feet, a solid ground under your feet when you're standing outside the window in the second floor. So I could see both ways. There were no limits to what you can do as you astral travel. So I know there is different ways of doing it, and there is different levels of handling it, and there is different experiences. But this is my way of doing it, and this is my way of not having this knowing that there is no limits for me when I can just go through the window. I don't have to open the window. I can go through solid walls. I don't have to. There is no limit. Um, I don't know how to say it in English.
You just, Jane, you just, okay, when you were watching the video, so it was like, you know, because I know a lot of things, being an Arcturian soul like you are, some of the minutiae of things makes you impatient. You just want to do it. So basically, you just heard a little bit of this and like you were ready to just go do it. And it sounds to me like it's the simplest way to do it. You're just basically doing this without, you didn't like learn how to do it and go through all this training. You just went ahead and did it. You were triggered to do it by a few words. Am I hearing that right? Or
Yes, I just first I was thinking I'm going to listen to what he's saying, and then he triggered the feeling inside me that I wanted to do this. It's on time to do this. It has been some weeks since I did this, and he just triggered the lust or the need to do that again. Just to, I wanted to see this is a terrific way of seeing different places and going different places as well, and having the experience. So, um, and mind you also that the video was on and the sound was on, so I don't need to go into a meditative state or having I don't care if there is sounds around me. I wouldn't care less if it was music, if it was anything. I get into this state of traveling, whatever sound. That nothing is um, uh,
Nothing,
disturbing,
nothing
nothing
breaks that.
disturbing my state of mind when I want to do so.
You're lucky. You're lucky because it would take, I don't even know if I could do it because I don't astral travel, although I'd love to, but it would take the perfect sound. I couldn't, everything has to be done just right. I'm real sensitive to that kind of thing. That takes a lot of power to not let anything phase you, you know, music wise. With me, it'd have to be a particular music and a particular sound and a particular level of sound. And, you know, I'm just real sensitive to all that kind of stuff. But so anyway, so then, you know, so then what happens next after, you know, you get this feeling, okay, I can do this?
Well, it starts off with me laying on bed or finding a comfortable position. And I do get into this calmness, this relaxing state before I do it. But that doesn't mean that I am disturbed by sound, by any sound, as long as there is no one coming uh, to me and tapping on my shoulder and asking something of me. Um, as long as there is radio or TV or music, it doesn't matter. It doesn't disturb me because it doesn't get to me or want something from me. So what happens next is that I just sort of soar in. Um, I'm floating in the air and I'm making up my mind very quickly to where I want to go. And mostly, I think um, I cannot remember any time I have just, yeah, there is a couple of times I've been on Earth, just staying on Earth before going anywhere else because I've decided to go to another country. That has happened. But most of the time, I'm going out of this earth. Just I can see my town slowly disappearing. I'm moving away from my village, and I can have an overview of different villages and towns and cities, and all of a sudden, all of Norway. And then again, I see it's kind of looking at a 3D map and moving very quickly. And when I move, I can move by the speed of thought. So in seconds, I can be out of this planet, looking down to the planet and seeing all the countries. And believe me, there is no boundaries. There is no um, there is no Norway or Sweden or um, the United States doesn't
Canada.
have everything is one. There is a oneness. You cannot see the difference between Norway or Sweden or Denmark or anything. It's all together as one. It's really beautiful because then you get an understanding of that there is no boundaries. There is it's sort of strange to see. Yeah. And I rest when I come out of this planet and I'm seeing the planet because it's a very beautiful sound. You really need to take it in. You really need to understand what you're doing. And also, I used to stop having an overview and saying my gratitudes and the blessing and sending white light, healing thoughts, loving feelings from my heart to everyone who needs to have this. And the earth and the core of the earth, it's very important that we find a state of gratitude when you do that. Turn towards earth. Don't just go out there, but turn to this earth and just give your blessings out.
Did you
Healing.
hear that? Did, Jane, did you have another phone call coming in?
No, it was my phone, but it wasn't a phone call. It was
Oh,
the alarm clock.
Oh, okay. So when you're looking back at Earth and you say inner Earth, can you see like Earth through Earth, like in a three-dimensional way? Is that kind of what you're saying? Or have you ever astral traveled to inner Earth? I know that's getting off the story I wanted to tell everybody about the planet you went to, but have you ever been in inner Earth that you know of?
No,
Okay.
I'm kind of sorry to say so. It never hit me to go there.
Me, it wouldn't
Um,
me either. I would just go outward, but you sparked that in me by you mentioning, Earth and inner Earth, and it was in some other reference, but it made me think about that, and I never would have thought that either to do that. Wow, even though I never have. Huh.
I'm very glad that you brought that up, and it would be a very interesting place to go to, and there is infinite possibilities with astral traveling. You can really do whatever you want. You don't have to. You don't have to go outside the earth. You can go inside. And let me tell you something about inside the earth. I know, and I think many people know also that inside the inner core of earth there is hidden some treasures. Um, and one of those is all the crystals of the earth, the gemstones. They hold very
See,
high, very high energy that you can tap into that
oh, big.
gives you energy. So that isn't a dark, dangerous place to go to. It's a very interesting place to go to,
I
and a
wonder if
very
it's really
sacred.
bright in there. Yeah, and it may be somewhere really. If the Hollow Earth theory is true, it might be not dark in there. It might be bright and beautiful, and who knows?
Yes.
It-
Uh, you
It's
could
amazing.
experience both things, but then again, I have to say something about astral traveling. Uh, you have to know, you have to have an inner knowing that you could not be, you would not be meeting something that you cannot handle. You have to know your strength. You have to know
Yes.
that you are protected. You have to know also how to protect yourself as an astral being, because you can meet everything you want to meet, but then again, you in an astral state of being, you have this inner knowing that you know your strength, you know your possibilities, you know what you can do, what you cannot do. And there is really no limits to what you cannot do in an astral state. If you can go through solid, that what we call on Earth solid walls or objects as a whole, you can really do whatever you want. There is no limits. It's every possibilities really, and you have this strength, and you can protect yourself if you don't want to meet up. But then again, you never know what you meet. You have to be open-minded. Um, as I'm sure you remember, I told you once I went to a different planet out in the
Yeah.
galaxy, in a different galaxy, and
The story was really intriguing to me, and that's why I wanted to, talk about what we talked about. But I wanted, you to share that with people, the excitement that was in your voice when you were telling me, and just the description. Yeah, Jane, yeah, I'd love to hear it again, actually.
yeah, the one thing is taking the other, because we're talking about being scared and being protective, and you never know what you're meeting. And that is again bringing me to the place that I was on, in a different galaxy and in a different planet. I was curious because there was so much light, and I was drawn towards it. And as I approached this was big planet, I was more and more curious. What is that? Why is it so much light there? Um, like a sunny day, but a different light. It was brighter. It was more white, and it was different from Earth as I know it. And so I approached in a very high speed, by the speed of thought, to get closer to it until I could walk on it and stand on it. And all of a sudden I saw these beings. It was so strange because they looked like birds, as in having wings, but at the same time looking like big beings, like dinosaurs. It was so huge. It was so big. It was bigger than elephants, and it was also different other beings with 2 feet, but different head and shape, forms, bodies. And I was really curious about that because I didn't know how to approach, and if these beings was friendly. I just wanted to look at them, and as I did, I went more curious because it seemed like I was like thinking, oh, maybe they're going out there eating on the ground. There was nothing, no such thing. They were not eating. They were like hanging out together, and they were like speaking, also having a conversation with each other. That was the feeling I got. Even though I couldn't say it was that, they were looking at me, maybe thinking that's a strange being. And as I was approaching these beings, slowly but very not so sure about, are they friendly or will they attack me or what? And all of a sudden they said, I could hear them say in my mind, what's that? Who is that? Where is that coming from? So they were as curious about me as I was with them. This was the feeling I got from far distance. So I was thinking, oh well, I'm approaching these beings and see what happens. Um, and they were standing still. They were not moving. Um, all of a sudden, I saw one of them moving away from me. I don't know what that was, but moving away from me anyway. So I was thinking, oh well, that's okay. And as I approached, there was a telepathic conversation or state of being, mind, with these people, with these beings. And I was thinking, who are you? And the answer I got was, we're beings of this planet. And as they are beings of that planet, must have been knowing too that I was not looking very different from them. Um, and I wanted to have a look around, not only to see what these beings was, but knowing how the planet looked like, and where to go, and where, if there was other beings also there. Um, and I asked if there was something for me to see as a new being on the planet, and if someone could tell me more about it. And one of those beings said to me that yes, there is. There, there is one person who can tell you. And I thought, well, yes, could you show me to this being? And I sensed that this was a very intellectual being. It was very high intellectual being. It was a sort of all-knowing person. And I had to go through this being to get an allowance if I was cleared to see the rest of the planet.
Wow.
So I went to this, and I asked, can you take me to this being? And this answer I got was, yes, I can take you there. And I didn't even know, I didn't even try to move as fast as thought. I just wanted this being to escort me to the other being in a polite way, show that I had the patience enough to do so and to respect their law or their way of being, to allow me to be a part of all this, because I was amazed. There were so many thoughts, and there was only thoughts. I didn't ever have to speak. I just had to be aware of their consciousness and be aware of their way of communicating with me. And that was so effortless. It was so easy, and it was just every thought that popped up in my mind, they could conceive of it, they could take it in and answer me.
So Jane, it
I
was just
didn't, yeah,
it was just an all-knowing. So just to clarify too, and I think you did, it's just an all-knowing consciousness of speech. There's no verbiage coming out the mouth. It's just the consciousness, all-knowing and all pure, relaxing, calming. Well, calming, so to speak, but it's, you just know exactly what they're thinking. They know what you're thinking, and it flows like that. Correct?
yes, it was like they could read my thoughts and I could read their thoughts, but it was not at the same time. It was like a conversation. This was just like a conversation. It was like I have to tell you what I want, and you will give me answers. So it
Right.
was like a conversation, but it was by thought. It was not like speaking like you and I am speaking now. No, it was
Sounds
not.
like telepathy. Sounds
Yes,
like what we telepathy. Perfect.
yes. It was a conversation, and and you know, I didn't even have to uh, think everything. They could also feel what state I was in. They could feel that I was humble and that I was cautious of my steps around. And they knew that I was very thankful for letting me know all this and getting so close, and also trust me to wanting to know and wanting to visit, and being also um, very grateful for this guestfulness that they showed me. I didn't have to think it. That was a feeling I had, and I knew straight away that they could feel what I felt and how I behaved. It's just, I suppose you can say that's an animal way of speaking for us on Earth. A dog knows what another dog is saying by looking at the body language.
It's
It's
true.
that way. Yeah, it resonates with what you feel. Yes.
Amazing. Wow.
So I was going to this sort of oracle, or whatever you want to call this thing, and asking. I was greeting this oracle and I said that I was from Gaia Earth and visit. I told this being, this oracle, also that I saw this bright light, and I was so curious about what that was because I've never seen such a bright, beautiful light before. And I was out in the vastness of the universe, and all of a sudden, this bright, very bright light showed up, and I was very curious about what this was. And the oracle said, "We have been expecting you." So I was very stunned about that. And he said, "Don't be so surprised. You have been here before, we know you." And he said, "You will be shown around. We will take you. I will have someone to take you to a place. Uh, there will be much interesting things for you to see." So I went there with these beings. Of course, I had this ritual of thanking this oracle before I went there, and he was trustful and let me go. And I was shown to this beautiful place. It was not like houses, but everything was transparent, and all the colors that I saw was also transparent. And I have never seen such colors before in my life. It was undescribable, really. It's like the closest thing I can come to these colors is transparent neon colors, almost. It was bright and it was mixed. And yeah, I've never seen a mixture of colors in that way before, ever. And I shouldn't close the possibility because you never know what you will see on Earth. But as far as I've come to this point, I've never seen this kind of colors before. It was really great. And it was like stepping on a transparent glass feeling floor, and the walls and the plants and everything was living. Everything was living. It was no such thing as solid like we think of a wall or a glass window or anything like that. Everything was living that I could see, even if it felt like solid ground. It was something upholding you that was living.
Wow. So the plants, everything was alive and vibrant with colors, probably iridescent colors, and iridescent colors and like transparent colors, and but everything's so bright and intermingled and just kind of a hybrid of beautiful colors, right? I mean, just in perfect harmony. It sounds like to me.
Yes, the plants were living, and everything you stepped on or touched was living. That gave me the feeling of being careful with everything you touched, or being careful with you have this. Um, um, if you know, every time I say namaste, that
Yes.
means I see you. I hear you. And in this state and in this place, I could really hear everything, and I could feel everything, and I could understand everything, and I could really see. And all my senses was so high pitched that there was honor in everything you did, because it's like picking up a flower and the flower says, "Ouch." You shouldn't do that because a flower will die, not straight away, but probably having a conversation with you for how to put it back in the state it was, or so it could grow again. So you got really the feeling of that everything was precious. Everything has life. everything was living and breathing, and it was so. It's such a strange thing because I have trouble finding words for it.
Oh, I don't blame you. It sounds,
I'm just
it sounds.
touching I'm just touching scrapping the top of the iceberg here.
Yes, I can imagine. I mean, it sounds so loving and just so unreal compared to anything you're used to seeing here in 3D. And yeah, I can feel it. I can feel what you're saying completely, even though I've never astral traveled that I
Yeah,
remember, or it just sounds so gorgeous. It sounds like what I can envision in a perfect, just like a perfect, 5D or higher type of planet or environment to live in.
yeah. It's like when I say that everything that I stepped on was living, it was like everything wanted to support you in the same way you wanted to honor it, and you wanted to support everything that was. And that again, when I came back to the state of being in 3D again, back to Earth and back to my sofa and walking to my work, all of a sudden it came to my mind that what I'm stepping on when I'm walking outside is the earth, and everything is living, and I could totally resonate with. Um, I haven't been thinking about it before. When I'm walking to the city, walking to town, walking in the nature, I never thought about that I was stepping on something that was living. But all of a sudden, everything came clear to me in my mind. That everything you are stepping, everything, every time you touch the ground, you are in contact with something that is living, really living.
Wow. And in the air too, there's things living around us everywhere in other dimensions. I mean, everything is life. The air is full of so much life that we don't see, that a lot of us don't quite see yet. I mean, all kinds of things, geometric shapes, different kinds of life forms from higher dimensions. There's so much stuff in the air too. And did you happen to notice any of that kind of stuff there? Like, life in the air.
Yes, I most certainly did, because when I say that everything was living, I mean everything. I mean the air, I mean the ground, everything I touched, everything even when I was breathing in health. Uh, the air was sustaining my health. It was healing me. It was healing my lungs. It's everything that you need. Going down to 3D again, it's almost funny because when breathing here on 3D Earth, even if it was free of every toxins you can think of, it wouldn't be the same, because when I was breathing there, it was giving me healing. Everything that I could be um, having a sort of 3D disease, well, that was gone. There were no coughing or anything like that, no black lungs or yeah, everything recognized you. If you know what I mean. Even the air could feel if you were sick or if you were not healed enough, if you were not having a clean body, if you were having anything out of balance, sort of, that could recognize you're out of balance and balance it back to the natural, perfect state of being.
Hmm. I
So
like
it
what you
was,
said about the air. Every breath in, every breath in was like taking in life, and then every breath out was probably like giving back, giving out life, giving back life.
yes, exactly. And it was vibrating, and it was like everything you could resonate resonate with. It was the vibration and the frequencies. It was all about that. It was almost like It's strange to say it, but it was almost like everything was made of different uh, thickness or liquid form of even the air was liquid form. Uh, you can. That's very strange to say because you cannot breathe liquid, but we really did. We There was liquid. You're breathing in liquid, and you can see it. If you want
Yeah,
to look into that, you can see it. But there was oxygen, and it was sustaining you. It was a part of you. All of the sun, you were one with everything there, and it was so clean and so you felt really. I felt really freshened up and full of energy, and um, I felt also that my intelligence was heightening on that planet. And I don't know if that was something that the beings made me to be, so that I could take it all in. I don't know if that was
the
even.
vibration, the vibration, Jane, of the planet probably made you. The love vibrations and the different high vibrations from that planet probably made you more aware and more intelligent almost instantly. And it sounds like the air was kind of like a plasma type liquidy air that you might think of in if somebody's in the fifth dimension where, you know, dolphins and of course whales can live out of water in those higher dimensions because the air is like a liquidy air. So it really ties into everything you're saying. I mean, it sounds to me like you were definitely wherever you were somewhere at least in the fifth dimension, maybe even higher.
I didn't notice the dimensions. I just noticed that they were doing some things, and I didn't take back with me uh, more than I could conceive of here on this 3D Earth. What I know was that I was all of a sudden surrounded by beings I could see around me, and there was a couple of them escorting me around. And I picked up on something that I really got the interest of. I thought it was amazing stuff. So when I was looking down on this stuff, I thought it was, wow, this is great. How did we not come up with this? Is it not possible? It makes lots of sense doing this. And all of a sudden, I was sort of pushed away, like move. Like I got the message, move, because I'm doing something here. Move away from here, and I was pushed aside. Um, I didn't feel that that was very friendly, but it wasn't painfully meant. It wasn't this being didn't want to be uh, in a sort of bad behavior, but I was in that being's way because that being was on to something. He was working with something, and I interrupted. So I was not watching my steps, sort of. Um, so I went with I was like escorted away from that sort of table or I don't know how to explain it because it was so strange and it was so making sense, and I was so into that. I really wanted more of that. But I was escorted away from there and showed some other places from outside, what we can call as outside, that everything was really one, but uh, they have also an outside building and inside building, although everything is transparent and you can see through it. I was having the feeling that I was inside something. Um, it was like walking down a long, long corridor, but it was happening really quickly, and having many different rooms to go to walk aside from. But we went to out to the outside, and as we were walking, I noticed many different plants also that is different from our plants. And I got the feeling that the plants were communicating with one another and also with the beings that was there. They were very conscious about each other and stating their well-being or what they needed all the time. All was taken care of. It was all in divine order. Nothing was out of balance. And it was taken very good care of. And these beings also told that they had been attacked um, by other beings that was not that well-meaning, um, and they were having trouble. They were having trouble from outside. And I got this message. It was not a very good message, but this is the message I got. And they didn't want to tell me more about it because it was not my questions to ask, and it was not my information to have. That was the feeling I got. Only
Wow.
that they have been attacked and need to protect themselves. So it's very interesting, but they were very loving beings, and there were no time during the day that I felt the need of food. I never felt hungry or thirsty or having this physical need ever. I wasn't even thinking about it. That was something I was giving a thought when I went back to Earth again. But there was a loving oneness between these beings, and they were much more in harmony than we can ever think of on this, and also very aware of everything that was living.
It's just fascinating and amazing. That's like the perfect existence. It must have been somewhere way high up on the etheric level, wherever that plane was or that planet was that you visited. I can only imagine. Did they give you the impression at all that they knew you were from Earth?
Yes, the impression was that they knew who I was, and I was me. I was nothing else than me. I was nobody else than me. They knew me, but I had to the other beings that I met in the beginning, I had to introduce myself as an earthling, as I'm coming from Gaia Earth, and I saw you, and I was really attracted to the light of your planet. So that's why I'm here, to know and to learn and to expand and to observe. Um, and that was okay with them, and they knew that I was not harming anything, or that was safe. They could feel me straight away. There were no such thing as I think also these beings would have known if I didn't mean well, because the feeling of the telepathical and the feeling between us. If I had wanting something bad, I think they could have felt it. I think they had that ability.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the oracle that they took me to, or this being that they took me to, just to know what I was to see, um, that being said, I know who you are. We know who you are. Not I, but we know who you are. And not where I was coming from, but who I was. And it was always a we. It was never I. They never stated I, ever. They said we know who you are. That was the way. And they said also we about everything. It was that kind of oneness. I never experience, they said, I know.
So did you think to maybe tell them at all that, you know, I'm from Mother Gaia Earth and I just wanted to know if there was any oil reserves up here that we could look into? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I'm joking. That would have been the thing to say, huh, to make them feel comfortable.
Yeah, so it was like they had whatever they needed, and there was
Wow.
an abundance of everything that was not. They didn't have any needs to manifest what they needed, what they um, needed to sustain themselves. They had everything. Everything was living. Everything was happening out. Everything was a oneness. Everything was in perfect order. So there was no need of anything at all, ever.
Exactly. This sounds like you know, it sounds like something to me from clear up into the like 10 plus dimensions. It sounds like something from the 11th or even 12th dimension, something this in oneness with each other. The color schemes, the plant life, everything just sounds like it was in total oneness. And
Yeah, but
yet,
then mind you that there were beings that was you could.
yes,
But then again, I think that also then again I'm taking on a different body when I'm astral traveling. I'm an astral body. That is a body that I could see them as beings. And then again, you have to remember also that it's difficult for the Arcturians to they can do it. They do it also. They appear as beings. But then again,
yes,
when you reach higher levels like angels, that is uh, difficult to show their beings to
very,
the earth beings, human beings, because we have such a dense place to move around to. So it's difficult to say
it,
what level these beings were in. But
yes,
there is no doubt about it that these was highly, very highly intellectual beings. And they were sustained by the air they were breathing in
yes.
that way. Yeah.
Several, you know, a few dimensions down from, I'm sure, the complete oneness with the source, but still at the same time, you're talking very, very super higher dimensional beings beyond our conception here.
Yes, and I would think also, uh, I have done some astral traveling. I've never been to any planets before because I saw that as a challenge. Because as I said before, you never know what you meet, and you have to trust you. You you
No,
can you can take in what you meet and not being scared. Because the one minute you're scared, you're um, taken back to your body instantly. It's because there is no fear in astral traveling. You have to know your uh, sovereign state of being that there is nothing to be afraid of. Fear is hatred. Hatred doesn't exist in these realms. Um, so there is a high vibration of love, and if you can understand that kind of love, you cannot feel fear. And when you feel fear, the instant that you feel this fear, you're going straight back to your body, to security. And that's the panic sort of thing that you get from being afraid of something. So uh, also said approaching these beings, I didn't know if these beings were friendly or not because I've never done that before. So I had to sort of feel my way into this situation.
I'm sure it would be like that astral traveling going down into any planet. Like entering a planet, you're kind of entering somebody's zone, and you've got to feel your way in. Do you know what I mean? Like you were talking about, you had to get a good feeling as you got closer to the planet that it would be okay to
Yeah,
come in there.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And taking everything in, it's like when you take everything in, of course, I don't know because I don't have that knowing, at least not yet. I don't know how it would have felt like coming to a planet in which there would be any harm beings or any bad feelings or um, anyone who wanted something that was not
Yeah.
aligned with love. I don't know if such
You'd
a
probably get that angst. You know, if you were approaching a planet like that, astral traveling, say, and it did happen, you'd probably get that angst, and maybe your innate would know to stay away from that planet. You know?
yeah, maybe I would think so. In that state of being in an astral body, I think you also get this you get this. I know you get this very high vibrating um, uh, frequency of love and awareness. So um, you are conscious about almost everything, I think, dependent on what state you are in also on Earth. But I would
Yeah.
think you would feel it straight away that that's not a place you want to go to. That's not that's a bad choice. Going to that place is a hazard, and you have to know how to protect yourself at least if you want to investigate. And I don't think there is anything to investigate for the state I'm in and the vibration I'm in tells me that there is nothing I want to resonate with or anything I want to know. Uh, so I wouldn't go there. If I had
I,
this feeling, I wouldn't go there.
yeah, I agree totally, and I think astral traveling sounds awesome to do. I don't know. I've been apprehensive about doing it probably my whole life too, and it's something that I really want to get into because I've heard of stories of people traveling to the Pleiades and other star systems even where there's they're on humanoid planets that are more ascended, and they've got a few different suns, and the love vibrations are just so right. One lady was talking about buildings on a Pleiadian city that were the buildings were like of amethyst, and like crystals were all over, and people lived pretty much in harmony, doing their own thing in society, and getting along and doing what they needed to do. And it sounds so exciting to be able to do. Do you do a lot of it, Jane, or are these situations that just? I mean, is this something you've done a lot of in your life consciously? Because I haven't, and
Uh,
yeah,
I've done it a lot, but I don't do it frequently. I don't do it very often. I do it
right,
every now and then, and I think that is because I want to check out if, and I do it also on Earth a lot. When I do it, I uh, have been out into the vast universe, but I've been sort of relaxing there. Just like if you can imagine going out to the universe, being in a light body, and just laying down on the clouds. If you can have that image in your head, but there is no clouds. There is only uh, it seems like it's only darkness and white dots everywhere, and a vastness of nothing really. It's lots of planets. It's a big galaxies, and in between there, you can just stand looking around, or lay down or sit down. Um, and relax and feel the peace, the lovingness of being. That's the feeling I get from being there, and that's about all I have done besides from being on this planet. Um, and there is lots. There is um, a diversity of planets that is you could go to. I think it was. I don't know why I ended up in that galaxy or in that planet. Um, I was just drawn to it. That's all I can say, really. Because it could really have been anywhere to pick. But that was something I was drawn to exactly at that time. So I think I was uh,
Yeah.
drawn there for a purpose.
Maybe it had something to do with your love for nature too. I know that you really are into nature and just really being in tune with plants and trees that you come upon in the conversations we've had. You've mentioned that, and I was just wondering if the plants that were alive and everything that was just so alive on that planet. I mean, I wonder if that has something to do with your personality. It's got to certainly tie into it, I would have to think, as to why you were guided and directed there on that astral travel, on the flight.
Yeah, being in that state of mind on Earth. But then again, as I said, I've never been thinking of that every time I'm stepping outside my house, I'm touching a ground that is really alive. It's
Yeah.
really moving, it's living. And I've never thought of it that way before. So it must have been for some kind of purpose that I was led to it, just to be conscious and aware of what I'm really, what is beneath me, under my feet when I'm walking. It's uh, to make me understand this, to see the whole picture, that everything is living and deserves the right place, and you need to step cautiously wherever you go, and
Yes.
thereby even more with your fellow being. It is
Yeah.
precious. Life is precious in every kind of way. And if you can see that as precious, well, how much more precious is your fellow being that you connect with every day? It's there is such a bond and oneness with all the people around you every day. Um, yeah, so life beneath your feet is sustaining you every day. It's a gift.
It really is, and I think that ties into too the other night when we were talking about that your herbal medicines that you've like to make homemade before and things like that, and how in tune to the bark you are of the tree and every little part of the plant. And I mean, it ties into the fact that you're realizing, hey, right beneath me, I'm walking on everything I even walk on is life. And it's probably just a manifestation of how you feel here on earth is why you were put in touch with that kind of thing, it seems like to me.
Yeah, it's also strange that I have been walking in the nature since I was a child, and always been wondering about the trees and leaning against them and climbing the trees and playing in the woods, in the forest as a child, spending most of my time in the nature. It's also very strange when I grew up and started taking medication and tapping into the, the plants and everything, and taking um, essences from the trees and opening the bark of the tree with a cross cut, opening all the opening this cross cut and locking it again the same way I did when I opened it, just so that I didn't harm the tree. I don't want to break anything or harm it. And I would also um, bless the tree and be grateful, show my gratefulness with giving something back to the nature, giving something back to the tree, honor it, and say, even if I didn't have any uh, thing to give it, I will give it my blessings, and I will give it my love, and I will uh, give it the honor of a prayer as I did so. And knowing that the tree uh, knows why I'm doing it and what I'm doing there, also to bless me and what I'm taking away from it, so that it contains a lot of blessing from the nature into the medications that I'm going home to prepare for other people to have. Um, so it's very strange that I have been so close to the nature in this way without seeing that I'm stepping on something that's also living. Uh, I think that was a huge message to me. Um, Having the respect, understanding, accepting it for what it is, and yeah, totally having respect for what I'm surrounded with in doing all this.
That could have
Because
been the ultimate message to the whole. That could have been the whole ultimate lesson to that whole scenario you went through.
yeah, and I think
Is
also I've never shared this with anyone else, and you were the first person to share it with. Um, so um, maybe also I was um, it was a plan, a reason for me to have this message and at the right time, because this happened. This is not like yesterday. I had this trouble. It's been a while now, and you're the first one I'm sharing it with, and also this is the first time I'm telling it to for other people to understand and to tap into this information. And I think it was given to me to provide it and take care of it until it was ready to come out to people.
yeah, I agree with you, and I think that it'll help a lot of people to hear about it. And of course, a lot of the old veterans that have always astral traveled will be like, "Yep, that's what it's like."
I think so, yeah. I think those who astral travel and have take a special interest of visiting other planets and other beings, I think
Yeah,
they resonate with this very well, because I've only been to one planet, whilst other people who astral travel will probably completely understand what I'm talking about. They will
they
understand
will.
and
They'll,
see, yeah, because they do it in their way. There
and
is
they'll
so
probably be like, "What a couple of." They'll probably be like looking at you and I and be like, "What a couple of rookies. What a couple of beginners." No, but there's a lot of our star family out there. That's their specialty. As far as we have our main strengths, and a lot of people out there astral travel all the time, and especially the younger ones that have gotten really good at it. And over the years, and of course, starting off with Dr. Robert Monroe and the Great Monroe Institute in the 50s and 60s, and some of these kids are just whizzes at it, and they'll probably be like, "Oh, yeah, I do that all the time." They'll
yeah,
probably even somebody will probably even tell you where you went. They'll probably be telling you the planet where you went. I don't know, but you know what I mean. It's just interesting to hear everybody's experiences and come together and share these things.
yes, I think it's on time really, because there is so much, so many coming into our group and being awakened and in conscious mind, and they want to know. And I think if this is my task, telling people who want to know, it is really my pleasure to do so. And I don't think that the travelers would um, think of this as a strange thing to go out with. Um, but they would probably know that there is so many who doesn't travel this way, and they understand also many things. They're intelligent people. They understand. Um, they have their understanding of why they have the need to go to other planets, and I'm sure so many other people have also um, much to tell us. Um, but then again, I got the name of the planet and the galaxy, but I didn't get the feeling of that it was worth to remember, because it wasn't that. That was not the issue. It
Yes.
was different. What I was going to say and what I was going to take home was the essence of what I experienced, the important things that I experienced. And the reason why I'm talking about the first beings I saw are so different from us, different forms, different kind of feet and hands and wings and eyes and not mouth and mouths and not noses and they had this, they had whatever they needed, being conscious and um, telepathic beings. Um, but I think it was important also to tell you that these beings are highly intellectual and are loving beings, but they don't look like us. So not a lot of people would uh, be okay approaching these beings because they were really looking intimidating uh,
Yeah.
for us. And that was also the reason why I was in such a hesitating state, being so far away until I got the feeling that it was okay approaching. But we have to know that there is beings out there that doesn't look like us, but they have a very loving being, and they will
Yeah.
do anything to show you around.
It's endless, the different looks. I'm sure that there's a lot of humanoids. Well, we know there's tons of humanoids out there, but there's plant-looking creatures. There's creatures that look like dots. There's creatures that look like anything you could imagine is out there, and even more so, 50 million times over, more so than we can imagine. Everything is life, like you said. Life looks infinite, so
Yeah,
obviously there's got to be infinite shapes and sizes to the life that exists out there in the vastness of the galaxy and the never-ending vastness of the universe and galaxy. And so it's really interesting to think about something like that. And I think that your story really just, it accentuates that and proves that point.
I think also that having big teeth and looking very intimidating doesn't. You have to just know that you can, if you can put your imagination into without any limitations. If you can imagine putting whatever together, there you go. There you have it. It's yeah, it's like imagining. Uh, Putting whatever being and with tails and looking like snakes with or an octopus or yeah, there were so many beings and they could live in perfect harmony, being different. And speaking about such, it is almost like uh, we are human beings and we have different colors and cannot take it. So how could you take it, seeing different kind of beings without um,
Having all
dis
this judgment and
discriminating?
exactly. And that's a good point too. It's just like with the Pleiades, there is endless life on the Pleiades, and it's probably like exactly like what you're describing in different forms. And how can we be ready as a society as a whole? I mean, you and I, of course, maybe, and people of like mind, but how can we be ready to take on something like what you dealt with when we can't even get over something so stupid as a pigmentation of a color on a skin?
Exactly, yes, yes. And that's also one of the reasons that people don't seem to understand that there will be, we will be too scared. We are not ready to meet these beings, even if they look like human beings in very, they have. fingers and toes and face and eyes and everything that else that we are equipped with. And even though they have that, they are not. We are not ready to meet them because they're much more highly intelligent, and also they can talk with you in by being telepathic. That's scary enough because that's out of order for us. It's not common. So that would be scary enough. Them tapping into your mind, and you can hear what they say, and you can even answer them and get an answer back. That is scary enough for people today on this planet because we are hurrying in 3D to work and back and to shop your groceries and taking it back. And that is the state of mind we are in. And we're even looking at a one-way communication on the TV, which is not good. It's lowering your vibration to a point that you don't know if you can sleep in the night because
Yes.
you don't dare even to switch light off. And how can you expect that beings of light and with this highly evolved beings will not scare the shit out of you, just
Totally.
approaching you? That would be enough.
Oh my
So
God, much less even if they looked humanoid like us. I mean, that would still scare the absolute fucking shit out of anybody. And I'm going to put it like that. It would scare the fucking shit out of anybody. And then much less, check it out, Jane, as you know, if they're beings that look different from us too. And I'm not saying any judgment on what it is they may look like, but that along with that other thing you mentioned, the telepathy, the all-knowing, it would really just, most people would there's a lot of people that I really think would have a stroke.
yes, exactly. That's why they say they will be careful because we're not ready. And the reason why we're not ready as a collective meeting this is also if you see if they have different ears or longer nose or larger eyes, we will see it as intimidating because we have never seen it before. And also um, there is another reason which is very, very important and maybe the most important thing that you can ever think of, and that is the awareness and the feeling. You have got to know that you have to tap into your own feeling, your own intuition about how they feel like when they approach you. If you can feel their vibration, if you can feel if it's evil or if it's good, if it's loving, if you can feel that, we're getting there slowly, and some are very evolved, some are very tapping into this and can feel it. But as a collective, human beings on this planet are not ready because they cannot feel if this is good or bad. That's why they get scared. We had that feeling before. We had that
Yes.
ability before, but it's taken away from us. So that's why we are currently showered with energy that is changing our DNA. It's changing our
Yes.
state of mind. It's
Yes.
um, it's making us more aware,
Yes.
and we're slowly also um, trying to be more intuitive. Um, like,
Yeah.
oh, why didn't I do that? I had that feeling. That was what I should have done. Why didn't I do what I should
Right.
have? We get that all the time, and we're slowly tapping into this intuition. Do
No,
what you think the first thing you think is right. Go
mm,
after your gut feeling. That is the right feeling. We are led in that direction now as awakened beings, but only when you're awakened beings. And just think about those who are not awakened yet. That would be too intimidating. They will start shooting at these beings. They will be so scared if they don't faint, they will attack just to protect themselves. So we are
yeah.
not We're not not ready to meet these beings.
Oh, it would be. I almost think it would be chaos to have it happen now on a mass
Yes,
scale.
yes,
We, us awakened, are like, even us awakened, are like excited about it, and we want it to happen. But it's still, it's a lot to take in. But there's so many people out there. My fear is that, and I think it's theirs too. The Pleiadians, especially, their fear is that there's going to be a lot of people just really flipping out if it happened, and really scared if it was going to happen right now, this minute. Say, like when we get off here on this broadcast, well, all of a sudden there's mass sightings that's undeniable all over the world. And how many people are going to think, okay, oh, it's Satan, he's coming back? Or how many people are going to think it's the rapture, and it's this or it's that, or whatever? You know what I mean?
yes.
People would flip out in mass, and that's too bad. And I really personally think that kind of sucks. But that's the reality, the 3D reality of where we're at right now with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're in the state of the middle. There is so many people who are ready, but there is also so many people who are not. And if you can see how how we are spread, there is one here and one there, and you don't have one village that is totally awakened. So it would involve some people who are not, and that would be that could also be people who are in charge, sort of, uh, in our society, that they start picking up the guns and organizing everything to harm these beings. Um, so I think also many people who are not awakened, they would question this, and they would say something evil. They would connect it to the religion they're into, and they would connect it with the maybe also with the government. We are all known with the fact that the government is hiding something, and we want to know why and what. Um, uh, we have been told what it could be, but we are certainly not ready to see this.
No, I agree with you 100%. And there's a lot of people, like you said, that would connect it to their religion, and they would connect it to this and that. And I think the frustrating thing is, a lot of us, when we first started to awaken, a lot of those same people that would do that, we've told and tried to explain to them the different facets of it, and the good and the bad, and what the government has done already, and that it's not necessarily tied to religion, because it really isn't. Religion is a hoax. It's pure spirituality. But I think there's a lot of people that would all of a sudden be asking a lot of questions, like, well, what the fuck is going on? And when you try to tell them what was going on, but their consciousness isn't ready to understand it yet. So I think
Right.
that's hence where the problem would come into.
Yeah, that's a huge problem, and that's why we also see that they're holding things back. They want us to have the opportunity to grow in so many different ways, and also we are changing DNA. The earth is changing with us. We are changing with the earth. The earth is in perfect order and in perfect alignment with everything. Um, but we are also aligned with the vibration of earth slowly coming to it. That's why we often say try to ground, be in a meditative state as often as you can. And those who are not are easily intimidated by what's going on the TV. Uh, and that's our own being. That is the human beings. They are afraid of human beings. They are afraid of our fellow beings on Earth. And then can you imagine how afraid they will be facing other beings? from other Earths and worlds and planets. Of course, that would be a huge
Yeah.
challenge at this time. So we really need some time to wake up and we to the fact that we are not ready for this kind of thing.
Well, and I think too that we're going through this shift, right? And I really believe what Cryon said. We're in a 36-year galactical shift, which halfway past it was 2012. And so we're in this window, and it's still going to take a little bit of time. And people need to stop being so impatient, because I really do believe we're in a window to make this happen between now and say about 2030. And and even Cryon says that, and even Bashar has about the same kind of time frames as well, as far as that goes. And so the planet is becoming more Pleiadian, definitely. The sun is more Pleiadian, the light vibrations are more Pleiadian. We're moving towards that star cluster, and it's happening, and all this awakening is happening, but people need to realize and understand it's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be on the portal of 6, 10, 14, blah, blah, blah. These are all phases that we're going through, all these blood moons, all these portal activations. Yes, they're all very relevant, but they're all just little steps along the way. I mean, as far as I see it, we're still a little bit out yet. I mean, it could happen anytime, yeah. I mean, but I could see it, it could be into the 20s before full disclosure happens and before full-on contact. They're already contacting, and have been for years, individual people on this planet. Myself being one of them. But on the other hand, too, even me, it's a lot for them to manifest completely in a whole body form here. One, and two, that'd still be pretty wild for me to see as well. So it's a slow process that they're moving through, and that we're moving through. But it's not that slow. When you think about it, even if it took till 2030, in the blink of the history, it would be nothing. I mean, we're talking 15 years tops. And I mean, the more we awaken as a collective, the more we can shorten that time window. It's up to us. It really is up to us at the end of the day. And that's it.
Yes, that's it. And you're talking about the how we are showered with the energy uh, to change our DNA and also change our body from a carbonized being body to an alkaline being body. That's a huge difference, and we are transforming as we go on the path now, and it takes some time. But if people can can just be more aware of what's going on, they will see also having these symptoms. It will manifest as pain in your back, between your shoulders. With it will be breathing problems. It will be headaches, and some flickering with the eyes, and some high and low pitched sounds. And it will be like they don't know what's going on. They have flu like symptoms, and painful muscle pains everywhere. Um, um, Digestive problems, a change of sleeping patterns, change of eating, like not wanting so much meat to eat, and fish to eat because it's heavy to digest. Um,
Yeah.
so many things going on around you with in the air now, and with your body. But if you go to the doctor with all these symptoms, they will say like, oh, it's the fourth or fifth or sixth disease. They just call it
Yeah.
that. And what is that? No, we don't know. I have a flu. What is it? It's a virus, because they cannot find out what it is. They don't know what it is, but it is ascension problem. It's we're ascending, and this is manifesting into our dense body, trying to transform the body and make it ready to, and that's the thing we have to understand. We have to understand that this is not something that's dangerous, although I would recommend people that are very bothered with the symptoms, I will just have them checked out by a doctor. Take some blood samples. Make sure that everything is all right with you. Um, but try also to understand that if everything is okay, if the results, if the test results comes out being okay, you have to know and try to tap into the reality that is that this is ascending symptoms, and we're all having them more or less.
Yeah, and it must be really terrible for people that don't. I mean, it's hard as hell to have them like you and I, you know, people that know what's going on, but people that don't know and they're having all these issues. Because I've met them before and talked to them, and you know they're having all these problems and they're clueless. But you know, and you can't explain it to somebody like that either. They don't want to hear it if you have some other kind of explanation besides just what they, you know, that
Yeah, the thing they do.
besides that they can't figure it out.
Yeah, because the thing they do is, yeah, but it has to be, it has, something has to be done with it. I'm having this pain here and there, and something has to be done with it. And then the doctor will say, okay, you just have to release your pain. You have to you have to go to the gym more and train some more. You have to use nature more, or you have to relax more, or you have to. And all of these are good ideas because you do have to move your body more, and you do have to lighten up your diet more, and you do have to listen to your body. But that is the most important thing you can do, is to listen to your body and give it what it asks for, because it's not as easy as just going to the pharmacy and have some painkillers, because it would not take away the symptoms anyway. And the more you are aware of the symptoms as such, as ascending symptoms, the more they will ease out. They will ease out and fade out and merge with your body as it is, and be accepted. The more you accept it consciously, the more you accept your body also accept this happening to you. So I think that being aware of this is very, very important for your health situation, and also to be a more awakened person, knowing what's going on.
Oh yeah, because you can find yourself really quick, like stuck on a whole bunch of medications from the doctor. You know,
Exactly.
all these different orders and advices, which, like you said, isn't bad within itself to watch your diet and to exercise more and go to the gym. But if you're already doing some of that, or even if you're not, I mean, it's not the answer. And people, you just need to be aware. And basically, that's about the only thing you can do, is be aware and try to do some of those good things for your body, and then just batten down the hatchets, because it won't last forever. But unfortunately, these are temporary things that all our bodies are going to have to go through. You know?
Yes, and I think the best advice you can have is you don't have to do all this lots of training, pushing yourself to the limits of puking. That's not my advice to anyone. It's not like you are in such a hurry to do everything, but to extreme extents. But you do need to visit nature. You do need to ground. You do very well if you sit down on the ground against a tree and close your eyes and find peace within yourself, coming from the peace that then and the stillness that is within yourself, the core of your being. trying to connect, breathe and connect with Gaia, with the planet. That is the main thing. And also drink much water, much more than you used to. And then you can have people saying, yeah, but the water is polluted, the water is full of toxins and full of this and that. There is several ways to cleanse the water that you're drinking, and there is several grips you can take that is very, very easy. In fact, you can play loving music with 528 hertz, and you can also put lemon into your water, and you can say nice words to the water. You can say I love you, you can say you're beautiful, and you can all this, you can really talk to the water. The water is life, it's living, it's an energy, it has this power, so, and also the ability to be cleansed and able, so you can be able to drink it. So there is not so much that you need to do to get what you need to drink. But you do need to take in lots of water these times, especially when they come out with solar flares and very high energy showering towards us on Earth. You will have ascending symptoms, and you will get it hard sometimes. And then the best advice is to use Mother Nature, and that is water. Cleanse your body with water. That's good advice.
Exactly. And even, that means even in the shower or taking a nice bath or spend a lot of time in the water too. That helps. And it's just a good idea. There's all kinds of things, like you say, you can bless your water, you can play music for it, you can, you can do a meditation with it to cleanse it. You can use a water filter, per se. There's all kinds of things to do to help clean your water, and it's very important that we get enough of it. And it's not easy. Some people, it's hard to drink water. You don't think, it's one thing, you don't think about drinking water, for one. And another thing, if you think about having something to drink, you want something like, juice, or some people want, soda still or whatever. But it's very important that we get that required amount of water down us each day. That'll help. That does help the Ascension symptoms a lot, I found.
There is so many videos out on YouTube about water and about how to cleanse your water. It doesn't take
Yes.
so much time, and one of those you need to see uh, for the starters. That would be water has memory. So if you type down water, go into YouTube, type down water has memory, then you can see you could be really amazed of what kind of information. And this is science. It is scientific research, and it has been proven that water has uh, memory. It has, when you, whatever it touches, it will be affected by it in a positive or a negative way, both ways. So if you, even by thought, even we are that, remember this, we are that powerful. Even by our own thought, we can bring our thoughts into the water, and the water is resonating with the state you're in. So if you are sad, which is a low vibration, because sadness is close to the way of anger, despair, depression, and that's low vibrating. You can bring that also into the water. So if you want clean water, don't bring those thoughts up. Have loving thoughts and think about something beautiful. and bring that into your water. You don't want to have bad things in your body. So if you want to cleanse the water properly, you should try to bring good thoughts into the water. And that's a way of communicating with all that is, with nature. And I think that's a good, that's a very good start, because you get an understanding that is very precious for everyone to have.
Yeah, it gets you in that train of thought, that mode of thought, thinking and realizing how, precious water is, and how important it is to us, because we are made mostly of water. Life is mostly water. Life is air, liquid, water. I mean, water is life, basically. We are water beings. We are light beings, but we are also water beings. And so it all ties in together. And I just think it's really great. And Jane, I really thank you for talking with us a lot about a lot of this stuff, and your astral travel, and your experiences and your thoughts on this. I know I certainly always appreciate it. And I think before we wrap it up, is there anything else that you'd like to speak to the people on, as far as your astral journeys go, or your experience in water per se?
Yeah, I would like to draw in the elements, because in this 3D world we seem to be separating the elements from each other, like
Yes.
fire, earth, air, and water. It is very important that when you go, if you go to nature, that you can be aware of. If you do a bonfire in the nature, you really have everything. You have uh, the earth, you have the air, you have the fire, which is passion. And think about all the elements, what they're talking to you about. Because the element, you can resonate with very many words, and the colors as well, the colors that they are giving you. So if you can just sit down and think about what you really are seeing, not only seeing, but you can use all your senses, like your ear, you can hear it, you can feel it, you can taste it, you can smell it, you can take it in, feel it. Um, that would be also going very far, and teaching you, having some good experiences. I think that's good.
Yeah, I do too. And I want to thank you again for coming on and talking with us about this. And I can't wait to get you on the next time. I know you're going away for a few days on a little siesta, on a little vacation, and I can't wait to get you back next time. And the subject that we're going to talk about will really be intriguing to people. That'll be a real humdinger, talking about the shadows and some of the things like that. And do you just want to, as we go out, do you just want to explain to the people what it is that you're going to be talking about next time that you come on the show, just in a couple sentences?
I'm going to talk about what I think. If I say witchcraft, I think that is having people's mind turning around in different directions. I'm going to talk about uh, my book of shadows, and also about what witchcraft is, and the history of witchcraft, and what you can think of as uh, uh, black magic, and being a white or a black a witch. Yeah, that's about it. That touches the essence of what I'm going to talk about, and I think that's enough to say, just to trigger some um, curious minds. And it has been a pleasure staying here with you, Larry. It's also a pleasure to share what I have experienced and what's my point of view. And I also wanted to just wish for people and everything that's living on our planet and all the beings out there, love and lots of blessings to everyone who feels in need of blessings. I want to wish I have good thoughts and good feelings for what is coming in the future, even if it's now and now and now. So, and to you also, Larry, I really appreciate being here with you and sharing this with you.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, I was on mute there for a second. Jane, it's just been really an honor to have you on the program too, and I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing this with us. And yeah, my pleasure. And I can't wait till the next episode when we talk about your Book of Shadows and we go into that realm. And I just want to wish everybody out there much love, and we hope that you enjoy listening to this talk. And if anybody's got any suggestions or feedback, we strongly encourage you giving it. And all right, Jane, much love to you in the land of Norway, and I'll talk to you here in just a few moments. And you have a good night, sweetie.
Have a good night also, Larry.
Peace out. Wow.